That's right, we are back on sports. I'm pretty happy to say that I'm back, doing sports now. I'll put it like this. We've seen a lot of things as of late. I want to talk especially about the NFL season that went by. It was a great season. I'm kind of sad to see that the NFL season is gone, okay? But I am going to talk about the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, start with the Philadelphia Eagles. People, understand this, okay? The Philadelphia Eagles are reloading. And I don't have a problem with it, all right? They've been signing a lot of different contracts, to keep players. And people like Kelsey, with Maclin. Riley Cooper, really, what can I say about Riley Cooper? After what he has done, this season, and I don't mean on the field. I'm talking off the field. Y'all know what I'm talking about, okay? And the way he acted, and then he took, a hiatus for sensitivity training, which we all know wasn't really much of a hiatus, okay? Then to come back and play the way he did, I understand why people want to justify, keeping him. He had a good year. Foles threw to him a lot. He did a number of things right, okay? I get it. And then you have other people who recognize, as we all know, coined the term racist Riley, but now it's become like a laughing stock. And, there's two things I have to say about this, because if we're talking on the field production, I can understand why people want to keep him here in Philadelphia, especially with his height, his speed. I get it. And then you have the off-field stuff where it says, can you really, it's almost you have to question yourself and say, can we let an individual get away with what he did because he plays football? So it's a very tough, debate to have. Because there are some things, let's be honest here. A lot of people just look at that and say, okay, that's bad. But there have been a number of things we've seen in the past that have been even worse. And, and that's not justifying it either, okay? That have been worse. And these people have got to let off the hook. As we know with Ray Lewis, we know what Dante Stallworth did. You know what I mean? When he ran that man over and he's still playing football. You almost got to question, if you're going to take that moral high ground, you also have to look at the franchises who aren't looking at that stuff and saying, hey, he's a valuable asset. Yeah, but he did this, but he's a valuable asset on the field. That's crazy, right? I don't know. I personally am not for Riley Cooper staying, personally. However, I will say that I can understand why other people want him on this team. My problem with giving Cooper such a large contract and these other large contracts, because let's be honest here, the Eagles have spent a lot of money, is going to be if Maclin resigns, comes back, and gets hurt again, who's going to take his place? All right, I understand we had a number of guys last year who were hurt, who we drafted. They were hurt. We don't know if they're going to be ready. Then you have to look at the draft coming up and say, hey, can we get somebody who can just fill in those shoes? Because for the talk around town is they're getting ready to get rid of Jason Avant. So, I don't know how you give these guys these large contracts, spend all this money, and then if somebody goes down, who can we find that can be either in the draft or even in free agency that would take the league minimum just to play here in Philadelphia? There's a problem there. I have a big problem with that. Now, I will say Jason Kelsey taking less money for a number of years. It shows dedication. It does. It shows dedication. I don't have a problem with that. Did you notice this season for the Eagles, there was no talk about the fans? Like from the players. There was no fighting at all. This year was a productive year. Nobody expected them to do as much as they did. Neither did I, all right? They did well for what they did. They should have beat the New Orleans Saints, but, hey, it happens, okay? But you can't complain over this type of stuff. You really can't. It was a good season. And as far as I'm concerned, seeing how that playoff game went and seeing all of a sudden these die-hard Eagles fans and seeing them quit on this team in the third quarter when they're only down by 6 points and you're quitting in a playoff game, you're walking away from the team, I don't want to hear it anymore. I don't. There's a number of Eagles fans here, not just on Twitter, in the city and on YouTube, who talk about how they're diehards, and then they really showed their true colors at that time. I think it's sad. But like I said, I think it's sad that the NFL has decided to, they pretty much ended things. We all look forward to football, you know what I mean? And basketball can't take its place. I'm not going to talk about hockey this week. I'm not going to talk about hockey this week at all right? Especially what happened with the Flyers yesterday. Don't even get me started, okay? But I will say, basketball cannot take its place, especially when you have all of these teams who are tanking. Seriously, a lot of them are tanking. It is disgusting to watch. I don't understand how the product can get this bad and people can still support it. I don't get it. All right. Like I said, I will talk more about basketball. Next week as well, with hockey next week. Also, I want to speak about this real quick with basketball when it comes to one Jason Collins. Okay, now look, as we all know, Jason Collins is the first openly gay, I believe that they said openly gay NBA basketball player. But I believe there was one before him too. He used to play for the Orlando Magic, I believe. But whatever. Jason Collins, as we all know, he's used, and let's be real here, people. All right. When these people are coming out and saying that they are gay, they are using it as a PR move. It's not because they are gay, and I'm going to explain this. Jason Collins, for those who have looked at his body of work throughout the years, Jason Collins was a scrub. Jason Collins wasn't doing anything. Nobody before he announced that he was gay was following on Twitter. No one cared about Jason Collins. Soon as he announced he was gay, boom, boom. All of a sudden, everyone's following him on Twitter. All of a sudden, everyone's like, yes, this is a great thing. This is a great thing. Look, people, understand this. I don't have a problem. Like I said, you know my stance on this. I don't care if he's gay and playing basketball. I don't care. I really don't. But to use it as some type of moneymaker is the problem here. And the Brooklyn Nets did this when they signed him. Now, we saw this before with the Brooklyn Nets when they used Jay-Z to try to get people into the door and sell merchandise. Now, they're using it with Jason Collins because for those who don't know, Jason Collins now has the #1 selling basketball jersey in all the NBA. Mind you, he's on a 10-day contract, which means this is very uncommon. You understand it? The Brooklyn Nets knew what they were doing at this point when they signed him. They knew. Now, the relevance for what I hear about his number and all, I'm not going to get into that due to the fact that that's true. If that's how he feels, it's legit. You know what I mean? But to use that is a problem. It's the same thing that we're seeing right now with Michael Sam, all right, when he came out and said that he was gay. Now, here's the thing. For anyone that's been watching the Combine, Michael Sam is not doing well at all. He's not doing well at all. If he did not come out and say this, I guarantee you, no eyes would be on this guy. And the thing is, he came out and said that people already knew. Like, his teammates already knew, but he just wanted to come out and make it official. Which means it goes to show you that in these locker rooms, regardless what ESPN is showing on how, players would be mad. For those who have not seen the player interviews, NFL player interviews about how, they couldn't undress, in front of another guy who was gay. Man, if you haven't seen these interviews, they're crazy. But his teammates, Michael Sam's teammates, knew about this. And they didn't care. Why? Because they're playing football. That's why. They don't care. So as far as I'm concerned, it's kind of a wash. Like, hey guys, I'm gay. Yeah, we knew. And we never, and they're pretty much saying we never made a big deal about it. Because it wasn't a big deal until you came out. Now, I will put it like this. For people who want to come out and say that they're gay, that's fine. I don't have a problem with it. You want to be treated as equals, then you should not be doing it on this type of grand stage. Now, understand as well that we've seen reports as of late that legislators and lobbyists are trying to make some type of rule where gay people cannot sign up and play in the NFL. Look, this is not going to go. If this is true, this is not going to work. And I will also put it like this. When something like this happens, you damn sure better, you better make sure, I don't know if y'all can hear that siren out there. That's getting annoying as hell. You better make sure that the moral compass of this stands intact. All right? Because they're playing this angle from both sides. I guarantee you, if they try to push this law, it will get shot down in a heartbeat. You cannot deny somebody for playing sports because they're gay. You can't do that. All right? You can't. Could you imagine how far, back in the day, how it was where you couldn't play because you were black, or you couldn't play because you were this or that? Stop. It doesn't work. Just saying. So as far as I'm concerned, Michael Sam and Jason Collins are guilty of this. They are, as far as I'm concerned. You can't just, like I said, you look at their stats, you look at the Combine, you look at all this stuff, and their numbers are either average or below average. And you're going to tell me that now they're put in the spotlight because they came out and said they're gay? No, you got to start looking at hard numbers. You got to start looking at ability. Will Michael Sam be on the team? I'm sure he'll make it on some team now. I'm sure he will. But his Combine really isn't that great. And I know a lot of you are going to say the Combine is nothing to go by. But when you are seeing this stuff, it's like, wow. You expected so much more from this guy. Not because of the hype that's given to him, but because of the things that he's done in college. He just seems like he's going to be one of those college players right now who's on the bubble, whether he's going to excel really good or he's going to be a college player who couldn't cut it in the NFL. That's what it feels like. I don't understand it. And speaking of more NFL, Derren Sharper. All right, look. For those who don't know, Derren Sharper surrendered to the Los Angeles Police Department not too long ago because, you know, for those who have not been keeping up, he has drugged and raped pretty much, you know, women on dates without their, you know, knowledge or whatever. Like, this is an ex-pro football player. You have to be kidding me that you cannot get one football groupie, that you have to rape women? Are you serious, man? And there's so many charges and counts against him. It's like this was a repeated offense that he did. This was nothing new. He knew what he was doing. As far as I'm concerned, all this stuff that is being said in the evidence, I understand we're going to say, you know, innocent before guilty. We know how the media does things. It's guilty before innocent. But if these things are true, and this is what he's actually done, man, put him away for life. How can you sit there and rape X amount of women and think this was okay, and then get back on TV and be like, ha ha ha, like it was nothing to it? That doesn't weigh on your conscience at all, does it, man? That's crazy. And speaking of conscience, I do want to make one more point before I end this video, all right? Like I said, this is just a quick video I want to knock out real quick because we're going to talk more sports in detail next week. Richie Incognito. I don't know why you just couldn't stay incognito. I don't understand this. For those who don't understand, I'll put the link in the info bar, all right? Richie Incognito has lost his mind so much since he has lost his job with the Miami Dolphins that he has decided to smash his Lamborghini, for what I'm hearing, with a baseball bat. Really, Richie? Really? Are you starving for attention? This guy is the same Richie Incognito who told people he was going to shit in their mouth. That he was the alpha male, okay? And then he gets on Twitter and he does something, then he apologizes for it. And then he makes rude comments to women and, you know, all these type of things. When you start seeing the real text messages that came out, then he tries to apologize to women for it. And I'm thinking to myself, because for those who was watching at the time, when I tweeted to him, I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, you're apologizing now because you got caught. You said these things months ago in text messages, and now all of a sudden, because they came out, now you want to apologize. You know what you said, Richie. You know what you did, Richie. What's wrong with you, Richie? But it's okay. So he apologized for that. And he keeps apologizing. Every time he does something, he apologizes. How about you just stop and think before you say something, Richie? Just seems like you don't do that. Now you're going on smashing your car up. Like, seriously, is this what happens when football players' minds turn to mush? Really? I mean, granted, it's all we know is him hitting. And you know what? The followers of Richie Incognito at the time, because he shut down his Twitter and he reopened it, shut it down, he reopened it. He didn't know what the hell he was doing. He was in a tailspin. But the thing is, his supporters were just like, we have a spot for you on this team. Yo, don't stop messing with my boy Richie. I don't know why people keep saying this. Stop messing with my boy, you know, insert name here. If you don't know him, he's not your boy. Okay? People on Twitter, calm down. It seems like we are seeing a lot of problems with athletes as of late. You know what I mean? And it takes away from the positive things that we have seen as of late also with the Olympics. It was great. And then we saw a lot of nasty stuff with that. Like I said, I will talk about that next week. Anyways, like I said, I just want to do a quick video and talk about these things. Like I said, next week we will go into detail about certain things. I have a lot of things to show you guys sports-wise. We back on this. I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all be safe. I'm out.